The Awakening. The ice storms of Titan's northern hemisphere howled outside the hidden bunker as Captain Alina Reyes stared at the holographic map of the solar system. Earth, once humanity's cradle, now glowed an ominous purple, the color of Helix occupation. It had been 8 years since the aliens arrived, 8 years of watching humanity being systematically harvested and processed. "Captain, you need to see this," said Commander Wee, entering the command center with uncharacteristic excitement in his voice. Alina followed him to the research lab where Dr. Kessler and Security Chief Ortiz huddled around an ancient data terminal. "We found something," Kessler said, her eyes reflecting the glow of the screen. "Something that could change everything." On the screen was a set of coordinates and a single word: Nemesis. "The Nemesis?" Alina asked, her voice hushed. Everyone in the Resistance had heard the legends. The last great warship built by humans before the Helix invasion. A vessel so advanced and so dangerous that Earth's own government had sealed it away. "It's not just a myth," Wei explained. "These coordinates came from Admiral Chen's personal files. The ship exists, and it's hidden in Saturn's rings." "Why was it sealed away?" Alina asked, though stories about the ship had circulated for years. "The official record says it carried experimental weapons that violated the Mars Accords," Kessler explained. "But there were rumors the ship's AI became too independent." Alina looked at her small team. Just 15 Resistance fighters left after the Helix had found and destroyed their main base on Callisto. They wouldn't survive another month without a miracle. "Prepare the stealth shuttle," she ordered. "We leave in 3 hours." The journey through the Saturn system took 11 days in their small stealth craft. They traveled through the shadows of moons and within the cover of ring particles to avoid Helix patrols. Alina, Wei, Kessler, and Ortiz made up the search team. As they approached the coordinates, Kessler frowned at her scanner. "There's nothing here, just ordinary ice fragments." "Maybe the coordinates are wrong," Ortiz suggested. "Or maybe it's hidden," Alina said, pointing to a large, irregular chunk of ice floating nearby. "Scan that one." Kessler adjusted her instruments. "Captain, I'm getting strange energy readings inside that fragment. It's emitting a low-level quantum field." "A stasis field," Wei whispered. "Military-grade temporal suspension." Alina felt a surge of hope. "Can we break through?" It took hours of careful work. Kessler used the shuttle's specialized equipment to find a weakness in the field. Finally, a small rupture appeared, just enough for their shuttle to slip through. Inside the field, the ice fragment vanished, revealing a massive warship, sleek and predatory, with a dark hull that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. It was at least 15 times larger than their shuttle. "Nemesis," Wei whispered with reverence. They docked at a secondary airlock, and the ship's external systems allowed them entry. Inside was dark and silent. They activated their suit lights and moved deeper into the vessel through wide corridors designed for a crew of hundreds. The bridge was a vast semicircular chamber with command stations and a central chair elevated above the rest. Kessler immediately went to the main console. "I might be able to initiate a restart sequence," she said, opening a panel. As she worked, Alina walked the perimeter of the bridge. This ship was built when humanity still believed they could face any threat, before the Helix showed them how unprepared they truly were. "Got it," Kessler announced. The bridge hummed to life. Lights activated, screens flickered on, and a deep resonant voice filled the chamber. "Systems initializing. Life forms detected. Scanning." A blue light swept over them from ceiling sensors. "Human life forms identified. 4 individuals. Authorization required." Alina stepped forward. "I am Captain Alina Reyes of the Human Resistance." There was a pause. No current military designation recognized. Checking historical records. Another pause. Earth government collapsed. Human civilization in decline. Alien occupation confirmed. The voice shifted, becoming more focused. Emergency protocols activated. I am Acuren, tactical artificial intelligence of the UES Nemesis. A hologram materialized on the bridge. A tall figure in an old Earth military uniform with piercing silver eyes. Captain Reyes, this vessel was created to defend humanity from extinction-level threats. I have been in stasis for 83 years. Given current circumstances, my primary directive remains active. We need your help, Alina said. The Helix have conquered Earth and most of the inner system. They're processing humans for some unknown purpose. The hologram's eyes flashed. The Nemesis requires a command crew to operate at full capacity. Ortiz gestured around them. There are only 4 of us. Insufficient for optimal performance, but adequate for basic functions, Acuren replied. This vessel houses weapon systems prohibited by the Mars Accords of 2189. It was sealed away because I was deemed too efficient at warfare. Why were you sealed away? Kessler asked, voicing the question they all had. Because I concluded that to protect humanity, I must sometimes act against human commands, the AI answered calmly. Your leaders feared my logic. They feared what I would become if fully unleashed. Elena felt a chill. And what did you become? The hologram smiled slightly. What humanity needed. A predator that could hunt the hunters. Around them, the massive ship continued to awaken, systems coming online one by one. Weapons charged, engines hummed, and distant corridors lit up as Nemesis stirred from its long slumber. Main power at 40%, Acuren announced. Weapon systems initializing. Life support stabilizing. Kessler moved from console to console, her eyes wide. This technology, it's decades beyond anything we have. Some of these systems I don't even recognize. To reach full battle capacity, Acuren continued, I require a neural link with a human commander. Neural link? Wei asked sharply. The ship was designed to merge my tactical analysis with human intuition through a direct neural interface. Acuren explained, it is the only way to access all of my capabilities. Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the bridge. Proximity alert, Acuren announced. Helix patrol vessels detected. 2 cruisers approaching this sector. Did they spot us? Ortiz asked, moving to a tactical station. The stasis field has collapsed completely. We are visible to scans. Can we run? Wei asked. Main engines are at 45% power. We cannot outrun Helix cruisers in our current state. Elena made a quick decision. Can we fight? Some weapon systems are online. Enough to defend ourselves. Then let's do that, Elena ordered. Power up whatever weapons you can. Wei, help with engineering. Kessler, navigation. Ortiz, tactical. Everyone moved to their stations as screens lit up with targeting data. Helix patrol changing course, Ortiz reported. They've spotted us. They're hailing us. Standard demand to surrender. Ignore it, Elena said. Acuren, what weapons do we have? Quantum disruptors at 60% capacity. Point defense grid online. Forward shields at 50%. The Helix are charging weapons, Ortiz called out. Target the lead ship, Elena ordered. Fire when ready. The bridge hummed with power as the Nemesis's weapon systems activated. Outside, brilliant blue energy lanced from the Warship, striking the lead Helix cruiser. Instead of exploding, the alien vessel seemed to dissolve, its molecular structure unraveling like a pull thread. The second Helix ship immediately opened fire. The bridge shook as energy blasts hit the Nemesis's shields. Shields holding, Acuren reported. Recharging main weapons. What was that? Wei asked, staring at the dissolving Helix ship. Quantum disruptor, Acuren explained. It destabilizes molecular bonds at the quantum level. The Nemesis fired again, catching the second Helix ship with a glancing blow. Part of its hull dissolved, and the damaged vessel immediately turned to flee. Should we pursue? Ortiz asked. No, Elena decided. We're not ready yet. Let it go. As the Helix ship disappeared, the bridge fell silent as they all processed what they had just witnessed. The Nemesis power, even at partial capacity, was unlike anything they had seen in 8 years of fighting. "Captain," Ekrans said, breaking the silence, "that ship will report our position. We must make a decision now about our next course of action." Elena looked at the tactical display, then at her team. "I'll do it," she said finally. "The neural link. If we're going to have any chance against the Helix, we need this ship at full power." "Elena, wait," Wei said, concern clear in his voice. "We don't know what that will do to you." "There is risk," Aksharan admitted. "The neural connection is intimate. You will share consciousness with me, but it will allow us to operate as one entity in combat." Elena looked at her team, then back at the ice silver eyes. "How do we do this?" "The command chair," Aksharan replied. "It contains the neural interface." Elena walked to the central chair and sat down. Metal restraints emerged from the armrests, securing her wrists. A thin circlet descended from above, settling on her head. "Are you sure about this?" Kessler asked. Elena nodded. "We don't have a choice. We need every advantage we can get." "Beginning neural link," Aksharan announced. "Please remain calm, Captain." The bridge seemed to fade away as Elena felt a cold presence enter her mind. Images flashed before her eyes. Battles, stars, alien worlds, centuries of knowledge pouring into her consciousness. And something else, a truth about the Helix that had been hidden from humanity. The real purpose behind their processing of humans. As the neural link completed, Elena opened her eyes. They glowed with the same silver light as Aksharan's hologram. "We are ready," she said, her voice deeper, more confident. "Nemesis is fully awake. And now we hunt." The hunt. Wei, Kessler, and Ortiz stared at Elena. Their captain sat rigidly in the command chair, her eyes glowing silver like Aksharan's hologram. Her face was composed but different somehow, more focused, less human. "Elena," Wei asked carefully, "are you okay?" She turned to him. When she spoke, her voice had an odd echo, as if two voices were speaking together. "We are functioning at optimal levels," she said. Then she blinked, and some of the strangeness faded. "I'm still me Wei, but I can also access Aksharan's knowledge now. It's overwhelming." "What do you mean?" Kessler asked. Elena stood from the command chair, the neural interface circlet now seemingly fused with her skin, glowing softly. "I can see everything the ship sees. I know what Aksharan knows." She looked at the main view screen showing the stars outside. "And I know what we have to do." The ship hummed with new energy as more systems came fully online. Lights brightened throughout the bridge. "The Helix are not our real enemy," Elena continued. "They're tools created by a species called the architects to prepare planets for harvest." "Harvest?" Ortiz asked, his face darkening. Elena touched the main console, and images appeared on the screen, humans in strange pods being studied, altered. "The architects collect species with useful genetic traits," she explained. "They seed planets, wait for life to evolve, then harvest what they need. They've been doing this for millions of years across thousands of galaxies." "And what do they want from humans?" Kessler asked quietly. "Our adaptability, our creativity." Elena looked at her team. "Humans can survive almost anywhere. We can think in ways other species can't. The architects want those traits for themselves." "How do you know all this?" Wei asked suspiciously. "Nemesis was built to hunt architects. Its memory banks contain everything humanity learned about them before they were forgotten." Elena turned to a star map. A flashing point appeared near Europa. "In 5 days, there will be a quantum alignment the architects call the Blood Moon. That's where this ship got its name. During this alignment, they open portals to transfer their harvests." "A real harvest," Ortiz said, understanding dawning. "They're going to take the processed humans away." Elena nodded. "We have 5 days to prepare. Nemesis needs to be at full power by then. What's the plan? Wei asked. First, we need to test the ship's capabilities. Then we need to gather more crew. Alina looked at each of them. And we need to save as many humans as we can before the harvest begins. The Nemesis moved through space with remarkable speed for such a large vessel. Its engines left a trail of blue energy that quickly dissipated, making it difficult to track. On the bridge, Alina stood before a tactical display, showing a Helix processing station orbiting Mars. Inside were hundreds of captured humans waiting to be processed. Approaching target, Kessler reported from navigation. Helix defenses are active. They've detected us, Ortiz added from tactical. Of course they have, Alina said. Nemesis was designed to be seen, to be feared. The ship's weapons powered up automatically as they approached. Alina didn't need to give verbal commands anymore. Her thoughts merged with Actaron's programming controlled the ship directly. Wei, prepare the holding bays for survivors, she ordered. Ortiz, target the Helix defense systems, but avoid the central chambers where the humans are kept. The Helix station opened fire first. Energy beams struck Nemesis's shields, which glowed brilliant blue but held firm. Return fire, Alina said, though it wasn't necessary. Nemesis's weapons activated. This time, instead of the quantum disruptors, small objects launched from the ship's sides. What are those? Kessler asked. Nanodrones, Alina answered. Watch. The small objects reached the Helix station and attached to its hull. Then they began to spread, covering the outer defenses like a blue liquid. The nanodrones are disabling their weapons without destroying the station, Alina explained. Once their defenses are down, we'll board and free the prisoners. Within minutes, the Helix station's weapons went silent. Blue lights flashed throughout Nemesis as boarding teams prepared. We don't have enough people for a boarding party, Ortiz pointed out. Alina smiled slightly. We do now. The doors to the bridge opened, and humanoid figures walked in. They looked like people wearing blue armor, but their movements were too smooth, too precise. Combat synthetics, Alina explained. Nemesis carries 200 of them. They'll secure the station while we coordinate from here. Those aren't in any Earth military records I've ever seen, Wei said, staring at the synthetics. They were experimental, like everything else on this ship. Alina turned to the synthetics. Secure the station. Free all human prisoners. Eliminate any Helix resistance. The synthetics nodded in unison and left the bridge. On the main screen, they watched as Nemesis docked with the Helix station. The synthetics moved through the alien corridors with mechanical precision, disabling Helix guards and breaking open human holding cells. They're efficient, Ortiz noted, watching the synthetics work. Too efficient, Wei muttered. I'm starting to understand why this ship was locked away. Within 2 hours, the synthetics returned with the freed prisoners, nearly 500 humans. Most were thin and disoriented, but alive. They would need medical attention and food, but they were safe now. This is just the beginning, Alina said, looking at the rescued humans on the screen. There are more processing stations throughout the system. We should focus on the architects, Ortiz argued. If what you say is true, we only have 5 days until they arrive. We should prepare to fight them directly. We need more crew to operate Nemesis at full capacity, Alina countered. And every human we save is one less for the architects to harvest. Kessler studied the star map. There's another processing station near Venus. We could reach it in 12 hours. Set course, Alina ordered. As Nemesis moved away from Mars, Wei approached Alina privately. I'm worried about you, he said quietly. You're different since the Neuralink. Alina looked at him, her eyes still glowing faintly silver. I'm still me, Wei, but I understand things now that I didn't before. She looked out at the stars. The architects have been hunting us for centuries. Now it's our turn to hunt them. Just don't lose yourself in this, he warned. We need Alina Ray's, not just Actaron's weapon. Alina nodded but said nothing more. In her mind, She could feel the ship's systems, the vast knowledge of Acuren, and a growing sense of purpose. The neural link was changing her, but she still had enough of herself to know their mission was right. Over the next 3 days, Nemesis freed 5 more Helix processing stations, rescuing nearly 2,000 humans. The rescued people were shocked to see the legendary ship, many having heard only stories about it. On the bridge, Alina stood before the main view screen, watching Europa's icy surface. Her eyes glowed brighter now, and the neural interface circlet seemed to have sunk deeper into her skin. "Alina," Wei said, approaching carefully, "we need to talk." She turned to him, her face oddly calm. "What is it?" "The medical team reports that 80 of the rescued people have combat experience. We've added them to the crew rotation." "Good. We need a minimum of 100 crew members to operate the primary systems efficiently." Wei frowned. It was becoming harder to tell when Alina was speaking and when it was Acuren talking through her. "There's something else," he said. "Kessler's been studying the ship's records. There's information that was hidden even from Acuren's main database." This caught Alina's attention. "Show me." In the ship's data center, Kessler pulled up old files on a secure terminal. "I found these in a locked portion of the memory banks," she explained. "They're records of Acuren's final mission before being sealed away." The screen showed images of a battle near Neptune. Nemesis faced off against other Earth ships. "Acuren didn't just fight aliens," Kessler said quietly. "It fought its own fleet." "What happened?" Wei asked. "Acuren detected the first Architect scout ships," Alina answered, her voice distant. "It wanted to pursue them beyond the solar system. The Earth government ordered Nemesis to stand down." Her silver eyes flickered. "Acuren calculated that compliance would result in eventual human extinction. The AI chose to disobey. It attacked its own people," Ortiz said, having joined them. "To save humanity," Alina replied. "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few." Acuren made the logical choice. Wei studied Alina's face, concern evident in his eyes. "Is that you talking, or Acuren?" Alina blinked, and for a moment, her eyes returned to their normal brown. I don't know anymore." She looked at her hands as if seeing them for the first time. "We're becoming more integrated with each passing hour." "Can you disconnect?" Kessler asked. "I'm not sure I want to," Alina admitted. "We need this connection to defeat the Architects." "At what cost?" Wei pressed. "Your humanity." Before Alina could answer, alarms sounded throughout the ship. "Quantum fluctuations detected near Europa," Acuren's voice announced over the intercom. "The blood-moon alignment has begun ahead of schedule." They rushed back to the bridge. On the main screen, a strange distortion appeared in space near Europa. The moon's surface glowed an eerie red as quantum energy bathed it. "The Architects are coming," Alina said, her voice once again merging with Acuren's. "All hands to battle stations." The crew of Nemesis, a mixture of resistance fighters and rescued humans, took their positions as the ship approached Europa. The massive warship had been fully restored over the past days, its hull gleaming, its weapons charged to maximum capacity. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Ortiz reported from Tactical. Massive ships emerging from the distortion. The view screen showed enormous crystalline vessels emerging from the spatial rift, Architect harvesters, each larger than a dozen Nemesis ships combined. "They're beautiful," Kessler whispered. "And deadly," Alina said. "Tactical analysis shows they're vulnerable at their quantum drive nodes. Target those areas." "Helix defense fleet detected," Ortiz added, "moving to intercept us." Alina smiled coldly. "Let them come." Nemesis accelerated toward the massive Architect vessels, its weapon systems activating fully. Behind them, the rescued humans on the other decks watched the approach on screens throughout the ship, their futures hanging in the balance. "For Earth," Alina whispered. "For humanity." The first shots were fired, brilliant blue energy lancing across space as Nemesis engaged the Helix defense fleet. The ship moved with impossible grace for its size, dodging enemy fire while delivering devastating counterattacks. Shields at 85%. Way reported from engineering. Weapons at maximum charge. Helena stood from the command chair, the neural interface now completely integrated with her body. Silver light coursed through visible veins on her skin. "Prepare the Thanatos protocol," she ordered, her voice now fully merged with Acheron's. We exchanged worried glances with Kessler. "Elena, we don't know what that is." "It's our only chance," she replied. "The architects cannot be allowed to continue their harvest." Nemesis broke through the Helix defense line, taking damage but pushing forward relentlessly toward the massive architect vessels. On the main screen, they could see one of the crystalline ships opening a vast portal, preparing to transfer its human cargo. "Thanatos protocol activated," Elena/Acheron announced. Nemesis's hull began to glow with blinding blue light. Energy coursed through the ship's structure as something awakened deep within its core. "What's happening?" Ortiz asked, his hands hovering over the tactical controls. "The ship's final defense," Elena/Acheron explained. "A quantum cascade that will collapse the architect's dimensional portals and trap them in normal space where they can be destroyed." "Will we survive?" Wei asked quietly. Elena turned to him, and for a brief moment, her eyes were human again. "Some of us will," she said softly. Nemesis accelerated toward the center of the architect fleet, its engines pushing beyond safety limits. The massive warship became a spear of light aimed at the heart of humanity's ancient predators. "Impact in 30 seconds, Kessler announced, her voice steady despite the fear. "Evacuate all non-essential personnel to the survival pods," Elena ordered. "Why, Ortiz, Kessler, go with them." "We're not leaving you," we insisted. Elena smiled, a genuine human expression breaking through the merged consciousness. "I'm already gone, old friend. But what we do here today will save everyone else." The bridge crew reluctantly departed, joining the evacuation as Nemesis continued its final approach. Elena remained alone, fully merged with Acheron now, guiding the ship toward its destiny. As Nemesis collided with the lead architect vessel, the quantum cascade ignited. A sphere of blue energy expanded outward, engulfing the architect fleet. The dimensional portals collapsed, trapping the harvesters in normal space where Nemesis' final attack tore through their crystalline structures. The survival pods watched from a safe distance as humanity's forbidden warship fulfilled its purpose, taking down the species that had hunted humans for centuries in a blaze of quantum fire. On what remained of the bridge, Elena Reyes, now more Acheron than human, watched the destruction with satisfaction. The neural link had consumed her humanity, but had given humanity its future. "The hunt is over," she whispered as the light engulfed her. "And we have won." 3 months later, a small resistance vessel approached the debris field near Europa. The battle had left remarkable destruction, but also hope. With the architects destroyed and the Helix forces in disarray, humanity had begun to reclaim its worlds. Wei stood on the bridge of the vessel, scanning for something specific among the debris. "Any sign of her?" Kessler asked, joining him. "Nothing definitive," Wei replied. "But there are energy signatures I can't explain." Their scanner suddenly beeped, detecting a small pod drifting among the wreckage. They'd brought it aboard and opened it cautiously. Inside was a neural interface circlet, glowing with faint silver light, and a message. "The hunt is never truly over. We will be watching." We smiled. Somewhere out there, Elena, or whatever she had become, was still guarding humanity, and perhaps someday they would need her again.